Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this amazing recruitment drive that we have today. So my name is Akhila Chandrasekhar, and I take care of the placements team here at Miles. So the agenda for today is to give you all the details of this amazing US pathway program that we have. And it's going to be a pretty short session. We'll speak for about 45 minutes today. And hopefully we should be able to give you as much information for you to make an informed decision. So I'm going to start off with showing you a short video of, what we are exactly going to be talking about. So just let me share my screen.
The global economy is in crisis. There's a huge accountant shortage, and America wants you.
There are 17% fewer accountants employed.
300,000 accountants and auditors leave the profession.
So let me get this straight. We're currently short on eggs, butter, and accountants.
Miles has cracked the puzzle for Indian accountants to work in the U.S. for 3 years. Become a flag bearer for Indian accounting talent as you live the great American dream.
Okay, so I believe that most of you should have seen this video. So it is very much real. We have a huge shortage of accountants in the US. And this is going to be the topic for today about what is the current situation in the US with regards to accounting and how we can actually leverage out of this shortage. So let me, talk about the Miles US pathway. And before that, I guess you would have all seen some sort of, news articles and the latest news clippings that has come out of this accountant shortage. So if you look at it, Washington Post talks about it. The accountant shortage threatens capitalism's future. The Fortune magazine, Wall Street Journal, even Deloitte had mentioned this in their financial statements, saying that there is a serious shortage of accountants in the US, which is actually causing them to have a delay in their working and their style of working. So this has been a topic which is been going on for quite some time now, for the last few years, and especially in the last few years after COVID, this has become all the more rampant. So we are going to talk about what is happening and how many, if you look at the statistics that we have here, the US Bureau of Labor Statistics and AICPA has actually released these numbers where every year in the US, there are about 126,500 job openings, of which there are only 72,923 accounting graduates. And as a result, there are more than 50,000 accountant shortage jobs open in the market, which is not being filled. Now, there are multiple reasons for this, right? So one is, as a population itself, US actually is an aging population as compared to India. If you see in India, 65% of today's population is less than 30 years, 35 years of age. So we have a very young population here. But whereas in the US, there is a lot of aging population, the younger generation is actually much lesser. Now, even out of this younger generation, there are not too many people who want to go into accounting. They would rather go into tech, AI, as something a little bit more fancy on those lines. But so they are not very inclined to move into accounting as a profession. Now, where do we have a lot of population and where do we have a lot of accountants? That's India, right? So we are going to be talking about how India is going to be leveraging out of this and how we can actually help in solving that shortage. And thus, that's going to be beneficial for us, right? So how did Miles exactly crack this puzzle for Indian accountants to work in the US? So if you look at it, I'm sure every single person in this webinar today has some relative, some cousin, friend who's done their science, right? So engineering, and has gone to the US to study their masters in, masters in engineering, MS programs. So there will always be somebody in the science stream like that. But if you actually look at it, how many people do you know who have gone there to study masters in accounting? Right? This is exactly possible only because of the power of STEM. So if you look at it, the engineering graduates, typically what they do, they finish their 4 years of engineering, they go to the US, they do their master's, which is about 1.5 years, 2 years of program, and then they get something called as the OPT, which is the optional practical training. And this they get for a period of 3 years because of the power of STEM. Now, what is STEM? STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. So engineering as a subject is a STEM subject. So it's a STEM certified program where, because of this, the US government gives them 3 years to work in the US under the name of OPT, which is optional practical training. Now, if you actually look at it, the Masters in Accounting program, which is already there in the US, it's been there forever. It's not something new. But the Masters in Accounting program has been something where it's not a STEM designation. As a result, students who are traveling from India can go there. Let's say they study for a year, but they were originally allowed to work only for 1 year under OPT. So what we have done, we have leveraged out of the STEM tech book, as we call it, and we actually have absorbed this STEM route in the Masters in Accounting. So Miles has actually spoken to several universities in the US, and these US universities have converted their Masters in Accounting program into a STEM certified program, where now they are also able to offer the 3-year OPT, the 3-year optional practical training program under their Masters, which will allow students like yourself to go there and actually work for 3 years. Now, obviously, as compared to going there and studying for 1 year and working for 1 year, you will not be able to make up for your investment money, right? But if you are having the option to go there and study for, let's say, 9 months to 12 months, then what happens is that when you work for 3 years, you will be able to easily recoup your money. And obviously, you also have a chance to, get through the H-1B lottery and continue working there as well. So this is what we're going to be talking about. So like I mentioned, on one side, we have the universities which are going to absorb students in the Masters in Accounting in the STEM program. So we will talk a little bit more about the universities. On the other hand, we have public accounting firms in the US where there is a severe shortage of accountants. So when I say accounting, I mean auditors, taxation professionals, accounting professionals, all three types, right? So just like in India, we have the chartered accountancy program and we have chartered accountancy firms. In the US, we have the CPAs and the public accounting firms. These public accounting firms want to hire. So on one hand, we have our students where it's a very, very talented lot. All of them have work experience. On one hand, we have the universities which are seeking students to come in and join their program. And on the other hand, we have the public accounting firms ready to absorb this. So this is an amazing cycle that we have, which is going to help in solving the accountant shortage in the US. So talking about these public accounting firms, like I mentioned, in India, we have the chartered accountancy firms, which are independent firms. In the US, all these CPA firms, they actually form, units. They collaborate with each other, and these are called as alliances. So what Miles has done is, Miles is actually spending a lot of money in trying to get in touch with all these different firms. We have an amazing team which is in the US. So I will also be talking about that. We have an amazing team which actually goes and meets all these different CPA firms, understands requirement from them, goes and meets these alliances, which are a group of CPA firms. So if you look at it, we are in touch with more than 350 plus CPA firms. We are in touch with RSM, which is one of our biggest hires. It's the number 5th rank in the entire world. We are in touch with BDO Alliance firms, Allineal Global firms. So all these different firms and alliances are looking to hire accountants through Miles, right? So for which we actually conducted placement drives last year. It was an amazing hit. So where different firms came in, different alliances came in. So I'm going to show you a few clips of last year's placement drive. So if you look at it this year as well, we have been continuously working with these firms. There are more than 100 firms which have actually already hired from us. So Miles has been continuously investing into all these programs through conferences. So I'm going to be showing you a few clippings of that as well. So if you look at it, our first placement drive, which was attended by more than 5,000 candidates, right? So we had representations from RSM, we had from BDO Alliance, we had from Crow. These are all top ranking firms. We had an exclusive Allineal Global Alliance placement drive where firms like ATKG, BPM, Eisner Amper, Weaver, all these different firms had come in. We had an exclusive BDO Alliance placement drive where we had firms from Blackman and Slew, Burkitt, Hancock. So all these firms have actually hired from us. So I will be showing you some sample of candidates who got hired as well. Let me in fact play a video for you for the placement drives that we had, which will give you an idea.
For the first time ever in history, placement drive by US accounting firms wanting to hire Indian accountants for the US locations. So America needs 136,000 accountants. The graduates are less than 75,000. And that is where Miles came in.
Accounting is down here in the US, and so that's where we really started to lean into these opportunities with Miles Education and bringing talent from India and hiring that here locally in the US.
We have a lot of people retiring, not a lot of students going into accounting, unfortunately. And so this program that Varun and his team have put together is fantastic, really, and the timing couldn't be better for all of you to come to the US.
I'll play another video as well.
A very, very warm welcome to our third placement drive today in collaboration with BDO Alliance.
There's somewhere between 40 to 50% shortage of students graduating from higher education.
All of our alliance firms are trying to figure out how to deal with the talent shortage we have here in the U.S.
We've been very impressed with the platform that Miles has created.
So the candidates have been impressive. The process has been pretty seamless.
We need resources. We need people to help build our practice.
We are looking for eager individuals, eager to learn, eager to work, eager to add an impact. We have our own in-staff learning and development team who focuses on building out an actual program for you.
I think that there is a lot of opportunity. I think there's not one firm probably on here that doesn't think about capacity needs every single day.
I'm also humbled to present to such a large group of truly talented people.
Thank you again to you and Miles Education. Truly, we've enjoyed getting to know you.
So this is the sample of the placement drives that we actually had last year. So going back to our presentation, so we will be talking a little bit more about what kind of profiles that these firms hire. Now let's look at actually the different universities that recruit from us, right? So we have universities like Case Western, Michigan State, RIT, Rutgers, Drexel, University of Delaware, DePaul. So all these universities actually are looking for qualified students who are ready to come there and study their masters in accounting program. So in fact, our first university that we started with was Case Western Reserve University. And you can see just last year and this year alone, the numbers. So they have actually taken in 75 students. And this year they're expecting to take 80 students. So we have like a huge number of students that they are looking forward to enrolling into their program. And obviously, when you graduate out of a master's in accounting program, like I mentioned, you will get that 3-year OPT. So all these universities offer the 3-year OPT program where you will be able to actually work after finishing your graduation. So talking a little bit more in depth about the actual program itself, right? So the Masters in Accounting program, which is STEM based. Now, the biggest advantage of this entire program is that you will be able to complete 30% of your coursework sitting here right in India. So the entire course credit is 30 credits, out of which 30%, 9 credits, you will be able to finish sitting here in India because we have a tie-up with a university called JAXOM, where actually it is an AACSB accredited Indian B school, where there is an option for you to transfer these 9 credits into any of the universities that I just showed you. So as a result, what happens is that you will be able to save time, you will be able to save money, your living cost for that, 3 months that you will have to live there in the US is actually taken care of. You will be able to complete that 9 credits while you're here. So the minute you enroll, you will be able to start the program. Even before you go to the US, you will be able to finish that. And when you go to the US, you will have to just finish the remaining 70%. So net, if you see, you will be able to finish your course in even less than 1 year. Talking a little bit more, the 30% of the program is actually the business analytics. So I also told you, right? So how did we convert this master's into accounting program into a STEM-based program? So that is a very important aspect that you have to understand is that when you actually look at the master's in accounting program, it has all accounting subjects, right? Accounting, audit, taxation. So how does this become a STEM-based program? It becomes a STEM-based program when business analytics is added into it. So if you look at it in today's age and time, accounting and audit is no longer just accounting and audit, right? We need tech support. We have so much of data. We have to actually do a lot of data mining. A lot of technology is required. Even for a simple thing like audit sampling, we need actually the technology to come in. So that's where the 30% of the coursework which you will be doing here in India is actually all business analytics subjects. So you will have to take a STEM elective course, foundations of probability and statistics, introduction to programming for business applications, again another STEM elective course. So you will complete the 30% here, and the remaining 70% is what you will be going to the US and doing. Now, again, if you look at it, the 70% coursework is mapped to the entire CPA syllabus. Now, why is it important to talk about CPA? Is that just like how in India, CA is a superpower, right? In the US, you need to have CPA, which is going to be your superpower. Firms look for hiring only CPAs. This is something very, very important to understand. Now, if you are not a CPA, they will still probably look at your profile. But ultimately, when you have to grow into a manager or senior manager, partner level, if you need to sign off documents, you need to be a CPA. So as a result, what we have done is the entire this Masters in Accounting program is mapped to the CPA syllabus, the FAR paper, Reg paper, BAR, and audit. So as soon as you start your master's program itself, you are expected to join your CPA and complete it. Now, it would be very easy for you to study both the courses at the same time because the syllabus is the same. So the investment that you do in terms of time also gets saved. Now, CPA is like the golden ticket to get a job in the US. So if you actually look at it, the Masters in Accounting program helps you to get the visa to enable you to go there and study and work. But your CPA is what is going to help you grow in your career. Okay, so like I mentioned, you will be completing 30% of your coursework in India. And because of the amount of students that we have and the tie-up that we have with the different US universities, you will actually be ending up getting a scholarship of up to 40%, right? The university, we have an amazing university team within Miles, which will actually guide you with regards to which university you should be going into, what sort of scholarships you will be getting. Additionally, the biggest benefit is that you don't have to write GMAT or GRE or IELTS or TOEFL. All those will be waived off for you. So as a result, you save on time and you save on money. Okay, so I'm going to show you another video of our students actually living their American dream. Okay. These are all our students who are studying there.
Miles 2023 in New York City, guys!
So all the students had gathered there, and they have been getting together. So I'm going to show you another example.
I got into RSM.
It's like the dream that I've been waiting for a very long time.
Within 3 months of coming to the US, I got placed in New York in a firm, and I have a job offer letter.
First semester and I got a job. I joined in September and I got placed in December. That's why I've traveled from India to US. I want that security. I want that dollars in my account.
This was always been a dream for me, and Miles helped me to get through this.
This is the American dream.
Hundreds of Miles alumni have been placed in the U.S. in top accounting firms with a salary of more than $60,000. That's more than 50 lakh Indian rupees. Be the flag bearers of Indian accounting talent as you live the great American dream.
Okay, so that was just a little sample for you to see what kind of students are living their life there, they're studying there. So now let's talk a little bit about the timeline, right? So now we have actually students who have already traveled to the US to do their fall 24 batch. So we actually have now started taking in intakes for the spring 25 batch. So let's say now you want to apply for the program, right? So what you have to do is, first thing, you have to, of course, start your university application, for which you should actually get in touch with our university team in Miles. So I will also share a link where you can directly go and make a payment. This is initially just to understand your eligibility, to understand your seriousness, and our team will go through all your details and then let you know which university you can go ahead and apply. It is a fairly simple process. The turnaround time is very quick. When you go ahead and apply for your university, our team will take care of all the details. you will get your university offer letter as early as even 1 month, 1.5 months. And once you do that, you will parallelly start applying for your US visa. Right? So the minute you have your letter from the university, you can start applying for your visa, and that will be a parallel process. You can go ahead and start enrolling for the 30% of the coursework that you have to do in India through the Jackson University, right? So you can complete your 9 credits even before you travel to the US, like I mentioned. Parallelly, one of in during that step, you will end up getting your visa, and then you will also complete your 30% coursework. You will travel before January 2025 to the US. In Jan 2025 is when you will start the remaining 70% of your coursework. So you will complete your master's and pass your CPA exam before December 2025. So this entire 1 year period, you will be completing both CPA and master's. We will, of course, not wait till December 2025. We will go ahead and start sharing your profile with the different firms as soon as you land in the US. There have been cases where students have been proactive. They've shared their profile even before traveling to the US, and we start sharing the profiles with the different firms. So there are cases like that, those as well. So the minute you travel to the US, we will start sharing your profile with different firms, because these firms actually hire well in advance. You will, of course, have to complete your entire program, because only when you graduate, you become eligible for the 3-year OPT. So once you complete your entire program and you will graduate in December 2025 is when you actually start doing your OPT, which is for 3 years. So hopefully you should be able to celebrate your New Year in Times Square in New York. All right. So once you start your work in Jan 2026, you will be able to work for 3 years. And during that entire period of time, of course, your employer has an option to apply for your H-1B visa, which will help you, stay there for another 6 years. That is, of course, completely at the discretion of the firm. So every year you will be getting a salary of minimum $60,000. Again, depends on the location, depends on the firm, but the average salary that we have seen is $60,000. So just breaking down the steps a little bit more. The first step is you enroll for the Miles US pathway. Like I mentioned, I will share a link on the chat. Also, my team would have dropped the link. So you will be able to go there, make a payment of 20,000 rupees to initially check for your eligibility, get the entire process started. And let's say for some reason you don't get through US visa for whatever reason, this amount will be refunded. Or let's say you change your mind, you don't want to go ahead with the program, this money will again be refunded to you. Okay. The second step is you go ahead and start with the 9 credits part in India, and you will be able to actually go ahead and complete it even before you go to the US, and that's about $9,900. Like I mentioned again, if for some reason you don't get through your US visa, this amount will be refunded to you. Now, the third step is applying for your visa, going ahead and getting your university details and things like that. So this you have to pay on your own, which is for $2,000. The $9,900, which is the 9 credits, is available on loan. And of course, your CPA program, again, if you have already enrolled for the CPA program, being a Miles student, that's completely fine. You don't have to enroll again, obviously. But if you have not already enrolled, you need to definitely enroll for the CPA program at this stage, which is again available on loan. Then the next step, which is the most crucial step, is the university, application and payment of fees for the 21 credits. That could be anywhere between $15,000 to $30,000, depending on the university that you actually go ahead with. And this is also available on loan. The last expense, which is the staying cost, the living, the twin sharing basis. So approximately that comes to $10,000. And again, you will be able to take a loan on this as well. These are the different stages that you will be going through in your entire program. And as you can see, your investment out of pocket expenses will be only $2,000. Literally everything else is available on loan. So your earning potential for 3 years is $60,000. Into 3 years, that's $180,000 at the minimum most. You will be spending on your student loan, interest, whatever taxes that you pay there in the 3 years, your living cost for 3 years, everything. So net in your 3 years minimum, you will be able to save $50,000. This is the entire breakup. So being accountants, I'm sure you want to know what is your ROI, and this is going to be your ROI. All right. So for everything like I mentioned, you will be getting loans except for that initial amount. So you will be able to then, do your calculation and do your math, and you will be able to see that for 3 years, 50 lakhs into 3 years, you end up earning 1.5 crores. Right. This is the amount that you will be using to repay your student loan, your living expenses. Now, this is the link I was talking to you about. So all you have to do is go into mileseducation.com/payment, make that amount payment for 20,000 rupees. For whatever reason, you change your mind, you don't get your visa, you don't want to take it up right now, this amount will be refunded to you. Everything else is taken care of. All right. Let me just move on. So we actually have examples of our candidates who have got placed. In fact, I have with me today one of our alumni also. I don't know if he's joined us already, so I'm going to wait to see if he's already joined us. So this is actually our different cohorts that have gone in the past. We have students from Case Western Reserve University, Michigan State, Rutgers, DePaul, Drexel, Delaware, Rochester, Clark. So as you can see, Case Western has been the highest so far, and we've had several of the students, as part of these cohorts. And these are some of our candidates who have already got placed. Some of them have already started working also now. A lot of the candidates have actually got placed at RSM. We have different other firms like MBE, KSDT, and all these candidates are pursuing CPA or have completed CPA. This is a very important point to note. Now, there are firms who are okay to even take candidates who have not completed CPA, but who are on the track to completing CPA. So we have Carolyn placed at RSM, Catherine with RSM, Chandrakala with RSM. We have Dhanush with MSP, Dipesh with Booz. So as you can see, a lot of these candidates have got placed in different firms through BDO Alliance, Allineal Global. So again, we have Lavika who's placed with SDK, Leela with SDK, Madhuri with KC Peterson. Again, we have RSM candidates. So you can see the list goes on. So I'm not going to read everyone's name, but you can see that we have, okay, this is Varun Jain, as you would already know. He's our CEO and our instructor for CPA as well. So this is his New York apartment. So there is a lot of effort and time that has actually gone in establishing a relationship with the different CPA firms. In fact, Varun has taken up a house in the US. He's moved there so that he can actually be in touch with the universities and the different CPA firms, because we see so much of potential for candidates being hired. Right. And this is Chandrasekhar Chandu, who heads the corporate relations team there. We have Cora, we have Jennifer, we have an entire team sitting there who actually talks to these different CPA firms, and there is so much of demand. So in fact, today I have with me Shrey from the corporate relations team, who has come here to speak about the different opportunities that candidates have and how much the firms want to hire. Hi, Shrey.
Yeah, hi Akila. Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Akila, a quick request. Can you just give me a screen share access? Yeah. So good evening, everyone. Thanks for your time. So I'm Shrey. I work in corporate relations. So our role is to work very closely with public accounting firms all across the US and on board, and subsequently these firms would interview candidates for their requirements, whether they need staff or preparer level or seniors, whether it is in accounting, auditing, or taxation. Now, how do we reach out to these public accounting firms in the US? So what is our go-to market strategy? So we reach out to public accounting firms in three ways. The first one is alliances. I think Akhila had briefly mentioned alliances before. So we are part of about 8 to 10 alliances. Alliances are nothing but associations. So we are part of BDO Alliance, RSM Alliance, Allineal Global, Prime Global, LEA, more. So we work very closely with about 8 to 10 alliances, and typically public accounting firms are members of these alliances. So that is our first channel. Our second channel is state CPA societies. I'm sure all of you know that US has 50 states, so each state has a state CPA society. So state CPA societies are not-for-profit entities, the objective of which is to further the cause of accounting in their respective state. So we work with about 20-25 state CPA societies, Mass CPA, FICPA, Florida Institute of CPA. We work with Cal CPA, California State CPA, Michigan State CPA, Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, Idaho, Ohio State CPA. So we work with about 20-25 plus state CPA societies. So that's our second channel. And the third channel is through strategic partners. We work with AICPA, we work with Accounting Today, we work with thought leaders and think tanks who really understand. In fact, AICPA has recently been pushing for STEM in accounting, which is in line with what we do. So, so in summary, the three channels through which we reach out to public accounting firms are alliances, state CPA societies, and strategic partners. I just wanted to quickly share my screen and show you a couple of interesting things, because in the US, it's extremely important that you have a very good LinkedIn profile. So I hope all of you have a LinkedIn profile. If not, please have one. And also, if you have one, make sure you update it. So I just wanted to take you through a few things here quickly. So first one, some of you are already students of Miles Education. So please follow Miles Education, on LinkedIn to get all the updates. The second is, so in the US, again, we provide talent to public accounting firms. So please also follow Miles Talent Hub Accounting to get all exciting updates regarding candidate placements and firm onboarding. Third is, again, I'm sure all of you know Mr. Varun Jain, who's the CEO. So please follow Mr. Varun Jain to get updates from both the Miles Education side as well as the Miles Talent Hub side. I just also want to quickly show you the profile of one Chandu. So please follow Chandu. So Chandu heads our corporate relations here in the US. So please follow Chandu. You can, when you go through his profile, you will see. So very recently, Chandu and I were in San Antonio, Texas, at one of the associations, Prime Global. You can see some pictures here where Chandu and I were addressing the gathering. And before this, this was the Alabama Society of CPAs. So ASCPA is Alabama Society of CPAs. So they had an ANA. ANA means Accounting and Auditing City Visits. So we had the opportunity to partner with them. And so please follow Chandu to get all exciting updates. And finally, please follow me. So you can just type my name, Shrey Ramakrishnan. You can type and you can see, so this was the event I had attended in Salt Lake of Prime Global in June. And so we network and we show the value proposition. We have exceptional talent in India. We have very hungry candidates who want to prove themselves. So, so my parting words would be, please make sure your LinkedIn profiles are up to date. So LinkedIn is super important. And thank you everyone for joining. So over to you, Akila.
Thank you so much, Ray. I want to show you all one more video before we move on. We have a video to show the different firms talking about what kind of accountant
shortage threatens capitalism's future.
Talent shortage is by far the most pressing thing that as a profession we're dealing with.
We live and breathe it every day as far as the shortage of talent. It's hard to find experienced talent.
It's a crisis. It's hitting everyone. Like everyone is still looking for the CPA.
We have a very large pool of Indian accountants. Any message for these guys?
You're going to come from India to the US and you're going to live your American dream. Be bold, be honest, over communicate, and don't be afraid to have fun.
So today I have with
huge
me
shortage of accountants.
I have with me Keyur Gandhi. He's part of our Fall 23 batch who's got placed at Hancock. And he's here to share his experience with all of you, how he went through the entire journey of the interviews, the visa part of it, and now how he is enjoying himself in the US. Hi, Keyur. We're not able to see your face too clearly, Keyur. Maybe you could adjust your camera a little bit. Yeah, perfect. Yes,
okay
yes,
now?
we can see you now.
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks.
thank you. Hi, Keyur, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you, Akila?
Good, good, good. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, that's fine. Good evening, everyone. I hope you are having a nice time, and that was a nice presentation. Yeah, even I had received the same presentation, and from that only I had decided to go with the miles for this US pathway. I'm already pursuing my CPA, and so I decided it's better that we get an opportunity to work with US firms that will also improve our profiles and everything. So I am from fall 23 batch, and I have completed my graduations within 9 months. And to be very honest, I had actually received my job of me coming to USA. So I reached here in USA in August 23, and by October or somewhere in mid-November, I was having my offer letter in my hand. And I am working with Hancock SQ from Savannah branch, and yeah, it's been going very good with them. Yesterday, I was having my firm event. It was kind of like annual firm event, and trust me, Akila, they were talking about Miles program, and they were really appreciating, and they were really like this is something new, which has resolved many other requirements.
Right. So, how was your entire journey here? Like from the time you decided to start your visa prep process, your interview prep process. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Uh, to be very honest, I was feeling like always suspicious that how it's going to be. But trust me, guys, Miles is putting a lot of efforts to sort many things out because it's not easy to, think of investing so much and coming to USA, taking a risk. But as soon as you go with the flow, you start the procedure, you will come to know that things are getting sorted. Also, see, even if in India, if you want to search a job, it's going to be a difficult it's going to be a difficult task which you wanted. So getting a job in USA, that is in a foreign country, and with the assistance of Miles is actually very appreciated. The Miles actually give you practice for your mock interviews and everything. So even if you are not very much you are comfortable with the English, because obviously the language is going to be the accent is going to be a little bit different. So they will prepare you for that, and they are actually putting a lot of efforts for that. But yes, if we are planning to come to USA, we have to be disciplined. We have to be very much particular about time management and everything, because this is not like our home country where we'll be in our comfort zone and everything. So efforts are needs to be put from our end, and obviously you will put it because you are going to invest a lot of things, and then if you go in a right direction to make the right selections, I'm sure you'll end up having a right job, I mean, good job, and then you have to uh, I mean, give your inputs and give your values to the firm so that they can they'll appreciate your work and will look forward for your longer duration with them. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kayur. Thank you for joining us on Saturday morning. So we really appreciate your help.
Yeah. Most welcome. And good
Thank
luck to
you.
everyone who are planning to join. And yeah, that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kayur, and all the very best for you in Hancock SQ. Hope you do really well.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to the rest of the information now. So we're in the fag end of our presentation. So the big question now is that what happens after 3 years, right? So you worked in the US for 3 years, and what happens after 3 years? Of course, you have an option to come back to India. You would have already had 3 years of on-site experience. You would have worked either in US audit or US taxation, US accounting. So you can, of course, come back to India and work here. You would have a CPA as well. So there are plenty of jobs in offshoring units here through Big Fours. So you will continue, and we have a placement team in India as well to help you. You will get a job, roughly 20 lakhs plus will be the salary that you will be having because of your 3 years work experience in the US. Or plan B, Of course, like I mentioned earlier, the firms have an option to sponsor your H1B. So if they do decide to sponsor your H1B, you can continue working there for another 6 years. Again, this is a lottery system, so there is no real guarantee for this, but you have a good chance because firms can apply for 3 years. So every year that you are there, the firms can decide to apply for you. So this would be the plan after 3 years. So that actually brings me to the end of our presentation and all the information that I wanted to share with you. I also have Varun Pratap from our team who wants to share a few words with all of you. Hi Varun.
Hi Akila, thank you so much. I think an amazing presentation, guys. Very good evening. So I did have a chance to go through a lot of your chat questions, and I believe people have a lot of questions about, how is this entire thing gonna work? How are, in what way is the placement assistance provided? And I do believe you have very personal questions, right? At what age is this, perfect for me? Or, you as a person is coming from a very unique background, educational background, your graduation, your credits, a lot of very deep personal questions that you want to ask about your career, right? What is unique to your career? Is the US Pathway program uniquely suited to what you are and your career aspirations are? For that, what we've done is, just like KUR, we've got hundreds of alums right now in the US. Working with top tier accounting and finance firms. What we are going to do is, for a very limited number of slots, are opening up one-on-one connect chances or sessions for you to connect with one of our Miles alum and speak one-on-one with them. So imagine Miles not being there, because you could possibly think that we are trying to sell you something. The idea is very honest and very, we want to push our accounting industry, our all the Indian accountants, and make them live their American dream just like the tech counterparts are. That is Miles's mission here and nothing else. So that is the only reason. And you can see in chat we have a form opened up. You can fill the form and connect one-on-one with one of our Miles alumni from the past cohorts, just like KUR was from fall 23, who've completed this entire MS in accounting, who've gone through the same thing as you will go through. And how did Miles help them? Or what did they do in US? How did how did they figure out accommodation? How did they figure out the placement drives? How did they go through their interviews, finding a lot of things, a lot of questions? What was their background? How did Miles help them? You can actually connect with them one-on-one and speak with them one-on-one. So there is the form. We have only limited slots. We've got only 20 slots opened up. So it's completely on first come, first serve basis. Go ahead, fill the form, and you will be connected one-on-one with the alums. Along with it, you can also see that there is a form that we've been putting, and I can see there are a lot of questions, right, about your CMA. Is CPA mandatory along with the MS in accounting? What happens if you don't like US, you want to come back to India? A lot of these unique questions, right? So there's another form where you have any question that you want to ask one of the Miles career counselor. You can fill that form, and we will have one of the Miles career counselors call you and speak with you one-on-one. So great, great session overall. I think if I would have been in your position, a few years ago, I would have taken the bus, but that didn't exist then. So anyways, over to you, Akhila. Thank you so much for the time. And guys, please do fill the form. This is for your own good. That's all I can say.
All right, thank you, Arun Pratap. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Like mentioned, you can always walk into any of our Miles offices as well. We have our career counseling team who will be able to guide you. We have our 9 offices across India. So walk in anytime, ask any questions that you have. You can pick up the phone and talk to us as well. You can definitely fill up the forms that we have dropped in on the chat as well. We are here to help you. So looking forward to talking to all of you. All the very best for your career, and hope you take a great decision. Thank you. Good evening.